What's going on, everybody? Liam Mitchell back with another one with my buddy Chuck Fonshell. And Chuck, what a game on Sunday. Bucs 38, Packers 10. Bucs improved to 4-2, and that was one of the best performances all around, all facets of the game I have ever seen the Buccaneers play, especially when facing an opponent as good as a Green Bay Packers team. What are your thoughts, just right off the top, overall?
Well, 28-point win, just like we all predicted, right?
Yeah.
It's definitely that there's just something about being able to watch the fourth quarter of a football game completely relaxed, being in complete control. I'm not worried about anything really, because you would have to hand that game on a platter to lose a 28-point lead in the fourth quarter. Just ask the Atlanta Falcons. But even then, that was 25 points in the third quarter. So 28 points in the fourth quarter, you feel good about? No, it's definitely a landmark win. I tweeted Saturday because my Tampa Bay Rays were also playing over the weekend. And I tweeted that I figured it was going to be my best sports weekend ever. I was calling upset for the Bucs, and I was calling the Rays to stop all their bad momentum. And I was 2 for 2, and it really was my best sports weekend ever.
How about that, man? How about them Rays Dodgers? You know, I'm an LA and Tampa guy, so.
Yeah, well, hey, let's bring it tonight, Liam. We'll see what happens. May the best team win.
Yeah, well, anyway, this defense, man. First and foremost, Jamel Dean. What a game-changing play. Great break on the ball. Not a great read there by Rodgers, but all props to Jamel Dean. That's the kind of play that immediately switches momentum. And then, of course, the very next drive, Mike Edwards. Great play by Carlton Davis on that play there by Davante Adams. Aaron Rodgers, 3 pick sixes in his career. 2 of them now have come at Raymond James. These linebackers, Levante David, Devin White, so fast, all over the field. You can't say enough about them. I think they're the best linebacker duo in the league. And then, man, Ndamukong Suh versus Aaron Rodgers, I just came out with a video, you know, the old Sapp versus Favre rivalry. And, yeah, when Suh was chirping at Rodgers, it was just like deja vu seeing that. And it was really awesome. And you can just see the swagger and the confidence building on this defense. And Rodgers, it was like that deer in the headlight looks that Rich Gannon had in the Super Bowl. Just, I don't know what to do. Just kept shaking his head. Who are you most impressed with on Sunday from this defense, if you had to pick a guy or two?
I feel like there are a few guys you could be in contention for as far as defensively speaking here. Let's give some credit to Carlton Davis. Carlton Davis was dealing with a core muscle injury. He missed a lot of practice through the week. He came out and he played really, really good instinctual football, often drawing Davante Adams in coverage. And yet on that pick six, it was Jamel Dean covering Davante Adams. Now, I actually wrote up in our review of the Chicago Bears game, even though it was a disappointing outcome, Jamel Dean started to make plays. And that was the first time his name had really been called for the right reasons this season. And, you know, to see them kind of forming a tandem, you've got Sean Murphy-Bunting working in the slot. There's a lot of teams that can make their defense look effective with a good pass rush. The Bucs have the personnel to generate a good pass rush, but there's not a lot of teams that can pair that with a young ball-hawking secondary, and there are even fewer teams that can pair a really strong pass rush with a young ball-hawking secondary and light speed backfield seeking linebackers in Levante David and Devin White. It is quite possibly an embarrassment of riches. And while it's easy to talk about potential, because potential is so often unrealized, with this Bucs defense, there is a cumulative roster that could lead to some very, very special things. Big if, everybody can stay healthy. We've already seen Vita Vea fall off. Now, fortunately, they did just trade for former New York Jets defensive tackle Steve McClendon. He's an aging guy. He's about 12 years in the league, not unlike Ndamukong Suh, but a nose tackle that's often very highly rated, does the dirty work, a good locker room guy. They're kind of deep. Now, you could easily lose Devin White or Levante David. Suddenly you're out of depth. If you do see one of our corners go down, now we're testing somebody that isn't quite ready. We're probably a little bit deeper at safety when you talk about Jordan Whitehead and Mike Edwards, who came up big, and of course Antoine Winfield. But if we're talking about most impressive, I'm just going to go with Carlton Davis because he was able to play with and stick with Davante Adams. After the first 2 drives, he caught 3 balls on 8 targets the rest of the game. And doing that, having not practiced a whole lot, without any penalties, I'm going to give it to number 24.
I love it. I mean, Davis has been phenomenal this season. Again, I was calling it at the beginning of the season. I think he's one of the most underrated corners in the league. Man to man, man, he's one of the best. And this defense, I'm just 12 straight games they've held opponents to under 100 yards rushing. I was kind of surprised to see Green Bay early in the game running so many sweeps and tosses to the outside because I just don't think that's something that's successful against the defense as fast as the Bucs. But I guess Matt LaFleur thought it was going to work, and it did not at all.
Aaron Rodgers did say after the game that they had not had a good week of practice leading up to it, even though they were coming off a bye. Apparently, the weather wasn't ideal in Wisconsin this past week. So it stands to reason that there just might have been some inefficiencies in their game plan. But you do have to wonder at the wisdom of running outside run plays versus 2 linebackers that have nearly identical speed, Levante David, Devin White. Devin White, I think, was clocked at a 4.5 flat 40 at the combine a year and a half ago. And yet in a foot race in training camp, Levante David won as a 9-year, 10-year veteran. So, outside run plays against the Bucs, inside run plays. You might just be better going 5 wide when you're playing Tampa Bay and testing something that I've been harping on, testing Devin White's pass coverage abilities.
Yeah. Because if he does have a flaw in his game, I think the biggest one would probably be his pass coverage. Needs a little bit of improvement.
There's no reason to think that he can't get there. He's a breathtaking athlete. All of his teammates say he's incredibly hardworking. He was voted the captain, so that says as much as you need to know about Devin White. It's just a technique thing.
Yeah.
And with any luck, Todd Bowles and the rest of the coaching staff can continue to iron that out and help him grow into more that defender. One of the problems is that at LSU, Levante David came into the league as a better pass defender because he came out of the Big 12. There are better passing offenses there. The SEC is a more run-based league. Therefore, Devin White didn't see as many advanced passing attacks that he had to defend against. So with any luck, playing against Matt Ryan twice a year, playing against, the competition in the NFC South and the NFC, he'll continue to get better, and hopefully this season.
You took the words out of my mouth right there. Exactly.
Sorry.
Exactly. Well, again, we've talked about the defense. It's number 1 in the NFL right now. It's playing fantastically. And if they can play like that moving forward, man, it's going to be a very, very tough team to beat. How about that? How about 0 penalties on Sunday? How about that from the 11 they had on Thursday against the Bears? What a difference. Only the second time in Buccaneers history. It's been since 1983 that we haven't been penalized at all in a game. Wow.
Now, I will point out, you've already lauded number 93 and Ndamukong Suh. I was very upset with Ndamukong Suh with just a few seconds left in the first half when Aaron Rodgers basically just spiked a football into the ground to avoid a sack. And what felt like a minute and a half later, Suh knocked him into the ground right in front of an official, drawing what could have been a roughing the passer or unnecessary roughness. Fortunately, there was an offsetting penalty by the offense on the play, so that didn't get called. And I was just panicking inside, like, well, this is the break they needed. Now, instead of 18 points at the half, we're only going to be up 11 points at the half. And he made up for it by sacking Rodgers on the last play of the first half. But if they play smart and if they play clean, technical football, there's no reason that this team can't be one of the lower penalized teams in the league. And I'd like to think, and this is something we also will reference in one of our write-ups here, Tom Brady, the effect of his leadership on his team. We all remember what it looked like with him going ballistic on the sideline after that 1 third quarter series against Chicago, and it might be working. You don't love to see people yelling at each other, but if the result of people yelling at each other is a shared respect and a shared dedication to getting better, I'll take it 10 days out of 10.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So, talk defense, talk a little bit about the penalties. How about the offense? Gronk, we called it on the video. We got the Gronk spike. He got in the end zone. He had a few big time catches, 78 yards in that score. Still only one catch for Mike Evans. Chris Godwin only played 62% of the snaps, but did have 48 yards. It looked like he was hobbling a little on that hammy, but I mean, what do you think of the offense? Rojo over 100 yards, 3 straight games.
You'll hear so many people bemoan the fact that Bruce Arians and Byron Leftwich are dedicated to continuing to run the football. And when it goes for a yard and when it goes for 2 yards and then the third carry is another 2 yard pop, you start to worry, you start to get antsy. They believe in their offensive linemen. Clearly, they believe in their core of running backs. And I'm more in favor for that for Rojo than I am a guy like LaShawn McCoy, God bless him. And I actually really liked what I saw down the stretch from Keyshawn Vaughn as well. I think that's a guy that's going to continue to grow into his role. I don't know exactly when we're going to see a fully healthy wide receiver core. Mike Evans is still on a bad ankle. The way that thing was tweaked against San Diego, LA, forgive me. I've never had my ankle rolled like that. And I know that he's a big, strong professional athlete, but it still hurts him. Chris Godwin, he's going to try and gut it out for the team, but that hamstring, these are complicated and big muscles and bigger still on, again, NFL players. So there is tissue there that is still going to continue to try to heal throughout the season. And then once a week, he's going to try and tear it all over again. Rob Gronkowski, yes, he had a big game. He had some great catches, but on the Gronk spike that you mentioned, that was a left-handed Gronk spike. Yeah, he has no interest in spiking that with his bad shoulder, which is bad enough to not just do that. So these are some things I think they're worthy of concern. Yeah, on the plus side, Tom Brady's a guy that can essentially make an offense work with just about anyone. He could probably find you for 2 catches for 16 yards in a game. That's the kind of quarterback he is. He looks for the open man, but some of his best receiving options are not 100%. And I don't know when they're going to be. Hopefully they can just continue to gut it out every Sunday. But this offense is good enough to score points against any defense. We've seen that. They scored 19 points in a disappointing effort against a really good Chicago Bears defense. They're only going to get better. The system's only going to get more natural for Tom Brady, for Rob Gronkowski, again, if he can stay healthy. And we've seen that we have a defense that's good enough to hold an opposing offense under 20 points. So I think at this point, 10 wins might be a little bit conservative looking at the rest of our schedule.
Yeah. Another guy I like to see getting in more, Tyler Johnson, getting in the end zone. Great to see. Overall, this is just one of those wins to me. When you beat a team like Green Bay in the way we did, it can just build so much confidence. And, that momentum carries and the whole locker room can just sense it. And you have that feel of we can win, So I hope that they carry this into the next stretch of games here because we got a lot of primetime games coming up. We can nationally make people realize, wow, these guys are legit. Well, we've got the Raiders on Sunday night, the Giants on Monday night, got the Saints on Sunday night, and then a couple weeks after that, the Rams again on Monday night, and then Kansas City. So, And then those final 4 games, I think we got Detroit, couple against Atlanta, and then the 1-5, surprising 1-5 Vikings. Kind of an easier schedule in that final month of the season. So I think
that's all going to be after a bye too. I believe we have one of the later buys in the league.
Yeah.
In week 13.
Yeah,
so
week
to be
13.
able to rest up for 2 weeks and then come back on what looked to be a soft schedule. I mean, any given Sunday, we know the rule. The fact is, for Bucs fans, it's good for us to feel happy, to feel anything other than the abject despair we've been subject to since 2017 or going back further to our last playoff win in the Super Bowl. But for the Buccaneers as players, there are a lot of guys on that team that are new, that haven't been here through all the badness. The badness, I don't know, the negative seasons.
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
Yes, fair enough. Yeah. Well, there are plenty of players that have suffered lots of losses. Sunday's result should show them what they are capable of. Bruce Arians is a storied football coach. He might not have been a head coach his whole career, but he has been around and with some of the greats. And Todd Bowles, former head coach, brilliant defensive coordinator, Byron Leftwich, he's been in the thick of it as an NFL quarterback, and I think he can speak these players' language. If they can just get this team to realize you are the only thing holding you back. We have everything we need to win. Kicker's not a problem anymore. Ryan Suckup does not look like he's going to lose. Exactly. You know, it doesn't look like he's going to be the reason we lose games. We've got what we need. So just practice well, play clean, and stand up for the guy to your right and your left, and they can make some noise and turn a lot of heads before the sun sets on this season.
Yeah, that was one of those things with Bruce Arians when people were comparing the Bucs to the Browns in terms of hype, and obviously I get it, we're the team with the most hype this season, but I think it's just two hugely different situations. You had the Browns with a rookie head coach and Freddie Kitchens, a second-year quarterback who really hadn't beaten anybody. I don't think he had beaten a winning team, versus a two-time coach of the year in Bruce Arians, and arguably the greatest quarterback of all time, who's still playing at a decently high level. So all the pieces are there. It's just them realizing Tony Dungy didn't win a Super Bowl with the Bucs, but he did get them to realize we can win. We've got pieces, and they had a lot of winning seasons under his belt. So hopefully, Bruce can realize it, the players can realize it, and I think they will. I'm confident. I really am confident. I've been confident since August. Well, hell, May. But I'm just so excited, man. I'm so excited. We haven't been 5-2 in 10 years, Chuck.
It's a long time. It's a very long time, and there's nothing guaranteed. A lot of people believe that the Chiefs might be the best team in the league, and our opponent Sunday night, the Las Vegas Raiders, they beat the Chiefs at their own game. They aired it out. Derek Carr started throwing the ball deep. We'll break that down later this week. We'll take a closer look at the Raiders, but nothing comes free. Nothing comes cheap in the NFL. The Buccaneers can win Sunday, and they can win every Sunday. There are a lot of Sundays where they should win. It's simply a question of, will they play up to their potential? Will they realize that their talent paired with skill and discipline can lead them to glory? And if they get there, then as a Tampa Bay sports fan, this might be my very favorite year, because you're an LA guy, but I'm a Lightning fan and a Rays fan. So the Bucs, I mean, that's the third leg of this tripod here.
Man, as bad of a year as it's been with COVID and everything going on, you gotta love the ending Tampa's getting here with the Lightning, and hopefully the Rays can pull through in the series. But regardless, what a year for the Rays making it to the series, and then hopefully, unlike the NHL and MLB, we might have a pretty packed house at Raymond James for Super Bowl 55.
We'll see. They had about, I want to say 16,000 fans. I think they were at about 25% capacity at Raymond James on Sunday. And I think the plan is to continue to inch that up. I know that Governor DeSantis here in Florida, he's already come out and said that he wants a packed house for the Super Bowl. And I have to believe all the executives and network suits also want to see that. The bigger the energy, I think that translates through the screens at home.
Absolutely. So everybody, we and Chuck will be back later this week for a little preview of the matchup against the Raiders. And then I'm actually going to be in Vegas with a couple buddies that live out there on Sunday. So unfortunately, I can't be in the stadium, but it should be fun to be in the Sin City. We'll figure out a place to watch the game. So
I will keep you in my prayers, Liam.
Thanks again for coming on, Chuck. Again, we'll be back later in the week with a preview video of the Raiders game. Thanks for watching this one. Go Bucs.
Go Bucs.